Welcome, guys, to this special News from the MiniVerse edition of D. Thomas Fine Miniatures. Yeah, I just wanted to welcome you guys. If you guys don't know who I am Darren Scala. I am the proprietor of D. Thomas Miniatures. Very happy that you are here to join and you clicked on. If you don't know me, I'm a passionate miniaturist. I love all things tiny, and I promote them every chance I can get. So this special edition, whatever I'm calling it, News from the MiniVerse, is all about just giving you an update of what's happening in this world of the tiny that we love so much. So sit back, relax, enjoy this little ride as I take you on the news and views from the tiny world. I mean, I'll take you through what's happening, what's happening in the media around miniatures, what's happening around exhibitions and shows that might be happening. You know, latest updates on Miniaturist you need to be following right now. I might give you a little bit of editorial on what's happening in this mini world. So why don't we, before we do that, make sure if you like this content to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, hit that, ring that bell. If you want to get alerted to when I put on new content on this channel, smash that bell if you like what you see. So let's get right to it. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is the Small is Beautiful art exhibition that is actually started out in Paris. I want to say late last year. It's now in London. It is an exhibition of you know, multi-artists from around the world in one beautiful exhibition of tiny treasures. Check it out. It's right now in London. If you are in London, in the UK, or if you're traveling there, this is the show to see. It is closing July 16th, so you're going to want to get in on it like as soon as possible and get your tickets now. We have some indication that it might be traveling to other places, so stay tuned. On this channel, I will definitely give you an update if I learn more about it, but definitely check it out. Right now, there's 34 local artists that are participating. There are international artists that are on. It's basically, you know, a show all about miniatures, but multiple mediums are being included, multiple scales, different techniques, and artistry that is involved, all the way from traditional, like Mulvaney and Rogers, which they're one of my absolute favorites and sort of the darlings of the miniature world. Mulvaney and Rogers, all the way down to sort of like highbrow art, if you will. You know, things that make you really think, as opposed to make you really, you know, they're all awe-inspiring, but they make you feel different things in different ways. So artists like Thomas Doyle involved in the Small is Beautiful exhibition. So again, check it out. I'm going to put the links obviously in the comment section, or in the section below, so you can click on it and see more about Small is Art. But definitely check that out. You're going to want to book your tickets in London if you are in the area to see it before July 16th when it closes. So definitely check out Small is Beautiful art. Next up, I want to talk about is Antiques Roadshow. You know, the PBS, long-running PBS show, all about checking out antiques and appraising antiques. So very recently, a dollhouse hit the Antiques Roadshow and was appraised on that program. So I'm going to put a link in so you can see the full appraisal, but it's kind of like the one of the few times we're seeing a rare Maurice Gottschalk dollhouse presented, found in really good condition, and appraised on the Antiques Roadshow. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to give away what the appraisal was, but I think you'll be surprised. But it is a rare opportunity for us to see one of these dollhouses. Late 1800s is what they're thinking when it was built. German. Maurice Gottschalk was a German company that was popular around the turn of last century, building beautiful dollhouses, architectural gems, and really kind of one of the first, more of the mass-produced commercial, but for sure expensive at the time, not for the masses, but commercial dollhouse builders at the time. So check that out. Maurice Gottschalk on PBS Antique Roadshow. Really cool stuff, and you'll be surprised at what the appraisal was at. So next up I want to talk about is, there was another exhibition in Hong Kong, actually. The title of the exhibition is An Art Journey into Past and Present. And this is an exhibition that celebrates the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong, of the establishment of the Hong Kong Special Administration Region, which allowed Hong Kong to sort of be a little independent from mainland China, which gets a little political. And I'm not really sure if this is a political show. It would not be the first time that we've seen miniatures created for political reasons. But anyway, they're charming and darling miniatures anyway, so check them out. I'm not quite sure when this is. It's happening now. I'm not quite sure when it's ending, but check that out. I'll put the links in the below. This is just one other thing I want to talk about, which is Route 9 Size on Instagram. His name is Chris Rayleigh. He's a West Coast miniaturist that creates small scale iconic signs from around the country. In small scale. They're a little larger than 12 scale, which is kind of like the scale that I love so much. But he works in all different mediums and I mean all different scales. But he recently had a raffle to celebrate Pride Month. We're in June, so this is Pride Month. And so he created a miniature, sort of like an urban graffiti, urban miniature, small scale pride flag. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like in miniature. And he did it as a raffle. And the proceeds, he actually had the raffle already and raised over $2,000 for the Trevor Project, which is this awesome organization that is dedicated to, it's actually the world's largest suicide and crisis intervention organization for young people in the LGBTQ plus community. So kudos to Chris. Great job on the raffle. Great job on this beautiful miniature, which celebrates Pride. And yeah, thank you for all of your support for the miniatures community with that wonderful piece and that wonderful raffle. In terms of minis in the news, there was a really great piece on WKRC Local 12 News 12 in Cincinnati, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, which was a story on the Kathleen Savage Browning miniatures collection out of Maysville, Kentucky. She has a beautiful collection, and News 12, Local 12 Cincinnati did a wonderful piece on her collection. If you don't know about her, she has probably one of the most extraordinary collections of miniatures that you will see on this planet. So definitely check her out. Seeing that museum is on my bucket list for sure. But really, really great job on showcasing her collection in this news piece. But also, I had the awesome opportunity to talk to Kathleen about her museum, and I had her on one of my Meet the Miniaturists. So I'll put the link there also if you want to see that. She has a really wonderful, holiday collection that she setup that she does every year. So, I mean, if you're gonna go there, holiday time is probably the best time because you'll see the miniatures and you'll see the holiday miniatures all at the same time. Head explode. Anyway, check that out. Another thing I wanted to mention sort of in the media is this wonderful piece that was written by Christopher May called The Dollhouse Inside the Dollhouse. It's an article he wrote for medium.com, a really, really insightful piece about miniatures, the use of miniatures, what they really are and how they're used. Really, you don't see these think pieces too often about miniatures. So definitely read this piece. It's really, really awesome. I want to pull out one really terrific quote. While there's so many in this piece that you can draw from, this one is really my favorite. He says, we can also ask, what does it mean for the miniature to be mass produced? The true miniature is surely singular and bespoke, not something printed out by the millions to stand in rows of hundreds on the shelf. When miniature objects are mass produced, they no longer express the dominating impulses of the artist, but of the corporation. So I just love the fact that he pulls out the artistry of the miniature and the difference between, commercial miniatures, which we love the commercial miniatures, really well-made ones, but the artisan miniatures really, really stand out, and this is why. So I love this quote, and I love what he says in this article. So I'll put that link in for you. Definitely check that out. And he's also on Facebook. He's an artist, so you should check out more of his work. I don't see miniatures necessarily, but he is an artist, so check him out. I want to talk a little bit and do a little bit of an editorial piece right now, really quickly, and talk about miniatures and expressing a love of miniatures. I want to say that, a generation ago, and because I'm now here several generations, I feel, in terms of my age, that when I was growing up in this world of miniatures, I would have to tell people, or I would have to explain what miniatures were, and I would have to tell them what people say. What are you into? What do you do? What do you like? I'd say miniatures, and then instead of saying dollhouse miniatures, because there's many different thoughts about dollhouse miniatures versus miniatures, and I always felt like my personal interest is more about miniatures versus the dollhouse. Nothing against the dollhouse. We love the dollhouse folks, but for me, it's always been about the miniatures inside the dollhouse, and trying to explain that to people has always been so difficult. Fast forward to today, and I have to say that I feel like I less and less have to tell people what miniatures are and my love of miniatures, because they get it. And I feel like we're at a time now where, through social media and through this whole new generation of folks who are into miniatures, I find myself less having to explain what miniatures are. People already get it. Oh, when I say, oh, I do miniatures or whatever, people are like, oh yeah, miniatures, they're really cool. Or there's no, what is that? There's less of that. So my editorial today is all about how the fact that, we've really grown to this place where I think people have an understanding of what miniatures are, and it's really, really good place. So anyway, what do you think about that? Put that in the comments section. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that, and if you agree with that. Maybe I'm the only one. I want to talk about my latest Meet the Miniaturist. So if you don't know, I host a webinar series called Meet the Miniaturist, and I have folks on who are movers and shakers in the mini world to talk about their craft, to talk about their miniatures, to talk about their art. My latest Meet the Miniaturist featured Abby Trotman. She's on Instagram with the handle Tobacco and Regrets, which I love that name. And we actually get into why she had named her company Tobacco and Regrets. She's an awesome miniaturist out of South Wales, UK, and she does a lot of diorama and related sort of small scale objects. Her whole sort of, thing, for lack of a better word, is, she's about the people, human nature, and the human experience. So all of her miniatures sort of center around those themes, which I really, really love. And here's a quote from her bio, is that she celebrates life and all of its quirks and intricacies, which I love. I love. So check her out. Check out the Meet the Miniaturist. We had some really great conversation. We got to see really some, fabulous works from her miniatures and the work she's doing. And, check out actually some of my previous Meet the Miniaturist right here on my channel. My most recent Meet the Miniaturist featured Carol Kraz from BuzzFeed. She has a whole series, a true crime series, that she makes miniatures to tell stories about true crime. I also had folks from Best in Miniature, which is a reality-based TV show about miniatures. So check out some of my previous Meet the Miniaturists, because they're fun to just learn and meet other miniaturists and makers and talk about their crafts and stuff. One of the things that I've been doing lately is showing folks a peek into my own miniatures collection, because as you can imagine, I have a passion for the tiny, and I love these things. And as much as I am a promoter of miniatures, I definitely love to collect miniatures and find really, really yummy tiny treasures. So I want to give you a peek a little bit into my collection here, talk a little bit about, share some of the posts I have put up about my collection. And as much as I love to promote and share my collection, what I do as my day job is I sell miniatures. So if you have a miniatures collection that you're looking to sell, or if you want to sell on behalf of a friend or a family member, definitely reach out, get in touch. I'm actually having a webinar coming up on Saturday, July 16th at 10 a.m. I will be doing a live Zoom presentation on what your options are if you are planning to sell a collection. So I'll take you through all of your options. So look for that. I'll put the link there. Two other things. One is I actually posted a special Meet the Miniaturist that was part of an exclusive Patrons Club event. I introduced Althea Chrome, who's an amazing micro miniaturist. I'll put a link in there, but I shared my replay from my broadcast to my Patrons Club. Oh, by the way, I have a Patrons Club. If you're interested in supporting any of my efforts, you can join my Patrons Club, have access to exclusive events and activities, and I'm sharing just one of those special artist talks that I did for my Patrons Club members, which was a talk with Althea Chrome. Check her out. Check out this wonderful talk that I had with her. See more of her work, and if you're interested in joining my Patrons Club, I will put the information in below as well. And then finally, check out the latest shows and events calendar. There is a company called smallhousemodels.com. I'll put the link there in, and they put up a calendar of all the events and shows that are happening in the mini world. So both local and sort of international shows. Tom Bishop's show was the show that just happened a month and a half ago, one of the bigger shows, but there are a number of smaller shows that happen around the country, and you should really check them out because you want to support the local players as well as the bigger players. But my feeling is you want to support the local shows and events, because that actually helps to propel some of the local artists and get them on the bigger stage. So you want to support locals so that they can get to the bigger shows, and you want to go to both. That's my advice. And a couple of things that are coming up. The Dallas Showcase, which is actually a bigger mini show, is happening June 24th and 25th of this month. And then coming up are smaller shows, Lakeland, Florida, June 23rd, 26th. And then, of course, you want one of the bigger shows, which is the Guild Show, happening in September. So look for that as well. Like I said, great source to find out where the shows are happening is through smallhousemodels.com. They do a really great job of collecting what's happening all over and linking to where they're happening so that you can get more information. So with that, I'd like to thank you for stopping in and listening through to my news around the Miniverse, what's happening in the mini world today. If you know of anything that's happening, send me a link, put it in the comments section, and let me know if you want me to do this again. If this is information that you want to hear more often, I will do more news from the Miniverse. But until then, I would encourage you to always find the joy in miniature. When things get really, really bad, or if they're not so bad and you just want to feel better, just think about this wonderful world of miniatures that we love so much, and allow yourself to find that joy, as I do, and the hashtag is find the joy in miniatures. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, night, or wherever you're joining from. Thank you for joining, and I will see you soon. All right, bye.